Sam, it's wonderful to meet you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out today. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. So let's begin our journey into your life as a TEDx speaker and a CEO by asking you this. 5 years ago, this pandemic was raging. So many things, so many unknowns. How did you ultimately make it through that time period? And how did it change the way that you do things now?
That's a great question. In fact, it was a changing time in my life. Before that, I used to be a believer in in-person meetings. I used to do my business, my things in person only. I was against all kind of Zoom, all against remote. For me, that was a waste of time. And in the beginning, I got into depression. At that time, I was managing a group of labs, and suddenly everything is closed. Everything we cannot meet. We used to have like an event every month, practically, to promote our business, to meet people, and to educate as well. And I used to love that. And suddenly nothing. So I thought everything will collapse. People will not work. And of course, it was the pandemic. So because of a group of labs, we had increase in testing, not collapse of the business, but everybody working mostly from home. Even the employee who is supposed to do the testing in the first 2 3 months was difficult. But anyway, what happened to my surprise at the end of the year, not only we doubled our business, we doubled our productivity, and since that time, I changed my mind. I thought, oh my God, the remote is great. And until now, I'm doing 90% of my things remote. When people tell me in person, to them, why we are wasting our time going into traffic or traveling. So it was a changing life opportunity. It also gave me chance to sit down and enjoy life in a different way
Yeah.
without really spending, I don't know, I think we spend 40% of our active life uh, traveling or don't know, commuting. It depends on which level you are doing.
Yeah.
It's crazy how you can rid of that.
So let's get to the heart and soul of what you do now in 2025. I'm going to put you in front of a bunch of 12-year-olds. Kids always get the truth out of us. It's career day. The kid in the back of the room is like, hey, what do you do for a living? How do you answer them?
Oh my God, that's tough because I do a lot of things, but let me say for a kid, he will watch me on YouTube. He will think this is your work because you are on YouTube, and I have an active social media life, you know. But for a kid, he will think I'm a YouTuber, but I'm not. I'm a
Right.
serial entrepreneur. I'm managing several companies in the domain of health, AI, and marketing. So practically, this is my life is really meetings to manage all these companies and fundraising for the startups that I have. Uh, Traditional companies that I have that generating revenue, they are not startups, is mostly day-to-day, let's call it accounting, hiring, overseeing the profit and loss, meeting major clients. So let's call it enjoying life, meeting people, and try to sustain a healthy balance between family and business.
So what did you want to be when you were 12 years old? What was your dream?
Astronaut, that was easy.
Right on. So how did this happen? Take me back to where you were born and raised. How did you become so highly driven, get into a CEO role, technology? How did this, what were the building blocks that were laid down to
Okay,
come to this?
that's a long story, but I will try to be brief. So, I was born in Syria, a country we talk about a lot today.
Yeah.
But my parents, because of everything happening in Syria, they left Syria. I was 1 year old. They went to Germany in the beginning, where my father was a doctor. He was doing his, let's call it specialization at that time. That's how we used to call it. Now we call it differently, I think. We call it interns. Anyway, he was there. Then we went to France. Then from France, we went to Saudi Arabia when my dad worked for a while. Uh, all summers I spent in Syria. That was an obligation from my father. So I have always very strong connection to my Syrian roots. But it was funny because Syria was a very strange country. Like I used to be very free in Europe and Saudi Arabia, then talk whatever I want, like fancy, free, modern boy. And then when I go to Syria, I was supposed to close my mouth and say nothing. Because if you say anything wrong, you are in prison for life.
Yeah.
Then I did my, let's call it applied physics, PhD in nanotechnology, which is today more, we call it computer engineering more than nanotechnology
Yeah.
in France. I teach in Concordia University, Montreal, for 2 years. And there I have a guy who knocked on my door. Maybe he will hear us one day. I don't know if he's still alive. He was 80 years old. His name is Bob, and told me, Bob, can you do this hardware for me that is related to testing of bridges and check their integrity? I told him, of course. I had no idea how to build that, honestly. But it was how I become an entrepreneur because I hired people and we did the project for him.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience to go from academia to real world.
Yeah.
After 2 years of working with him as a subcontractor, he sold his company to a big consulting. He wanted to retire practically. And he had this tiny lab that he is using for himself. And he told me, listen, nobody is interested in that lab. It's doing like $40,000 a month. And he want to get rid of it. And he told me I will close it. I told him, no, I'll buy it from you. And I thought by doing this, like because of my small experience of entrepreneurship, that it would be easy, great. It wasn't easy first. I tell people all the time, if I knew how tough it will be, I will not do it.
Yeah.
But it was rewarding too. And in 5 years, we went from $40,000 a month to 5 million.
Wow.
That was like crazy,
Yeah.
honestly. I started this crazy experience. I was only 28 years old, and I put my wife with me. She was a chemist, and the lab was testing for it was chemistry. It's not nanotechnology, it's not computer engineering. It's really for me, it was a lot of learning. For her, it's a challenge. She was barely 26, and suddenly we are in charge of a lab, and people look at us. But it was very successful. However, I did a lot of bad deals, honestly. Like in 2013, yes, $5 million a month. But at the end of the month, I have nothing. I give the investor their money, their dividend, the interest for the banks, and I stay like rich poor. You have asset, but you have no money at the end of the month.
Yeah.
And I was so obese. I was 440 pounds. And I don't know how I got there, honestly.
Yeah.
So I was sick. So I said, okay, let's start over. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. I sold the group for not a lot of money. Not zero, but like around a little bit less than a million.
Yeah.
And I start over. I lost 240 pounds.
Wow.
I saw the picture on my LinkedIn. Some people don't believe. But anyway, I started over. And this time I said, I don't want 5 million a month. I want profit.
Yeah.
And my new start, that's what we concentrated on. No loans, nothing, just concentrating on profit. But I couldn't help myself. 2017, I grow the small lab in Montreal again, and I came to the US and established a lab in the US, established an office in Germany, a small lab in India. So it became a group again. And here come a German group who purchased my this small group and made me the CEO of California and Canada, and then the CEO of Tantamus Labs of America. The group name was Tantamus. It was a great experience with them when I learned more and more in the domain of labs, nurture and acquisition. I always created software for the labs.
Yeah.
Comes the AI era, I said, oh, I was a researcher in AI.
Yeah.
I published articles in automatic theorem proving symbolic simulation when I was doing my PhD and I was teaching university. How come I abandoned and I become pure business? So I decided to write a book and to create a company for AI. So in 2023, I created this book, The Singularity of Hope. It was not a business. It was a book about the future of humanity and AI. It got decent success, become an Amazon bestseller, Barnes& Noble bestseller. So I start getting invitation to speak in the domain of AI, which was amazing. And in no time, I went from nothing in social media. Today I was checking, I have 1.5 million subscribers and followers all over social media.
Yeah.
And that was so quick and become a speaker in AI. So that's also amazing. And I still have passion for labs, of course. I'm still working a little bit left and right in that domain. But today, I have this, like, let's call it life where I'm enjoying several startups, several companies, and I'm writing books. I wrote a novel recently, The Republic of Mars, and also it's a bestseller on Amazon.
Excellent. So, who's been a hero? Who's been that inspiration for you to do all of this?
Oh my God, that's a tough question. I will tell you, during my life, I always fascinated by everyone, honestly. When I was a little kid, it was the space time, the exploration, Challenger, Discovery, this kind of thing. So I wanted to become astronaut. Then later I discovered that I don't have the physics to be the physique or the body to become an astronaut. So I said, okay, I will become a scientist. And it was at that time the inspiration of a lot of people, from the famous, very famous people like Einstein and Gödel, but also later like Roger Penrose. It was the kicking time in my life when I read his book, The Emperor New Mind, that I was like barely 18. So I said, I'm going into physics. And then you been shocked by reality. There is no funding for theoretical physics, so I did computer engineering. And at that time, it was the 2000 boom. So it was really good time. And when they started, unfortunately, the collapse or the bubble burst, I was already teaching, so that was good. I was in safe haven. Now, in terms of heroes, I have a lot of heroes. You know, it's not easy to talk about them. From astronaut like Armstrong to scientists to writers. Frank Herbert is my favorite writers.
Yeah.
I read his books June like 17 times when I was young. It was my people tell me, why you are still reading? I told them I don't know. I like it. So anyway, the inspiration is a lot of my life, and of course, my parents, who early life, of course, they sacrificed a lot. So I got out of Syria. Now we talk, we know a little bit what does that mean.
So, let me ask you this. Um, how do you find balance? How do you find balance between taking care of yourself and being a successful businessman? How does all of that work for you? What's been the philosophy for you?
In fact, you need to be grounded and you need to have references. And this is, I learned so hard in 2013 when I was 440 pounds and I was sick. And I have a problem with that year because honestly, because I was so sick and so obese, I don't remember anything
Yeah.
practically for that year. It was
Yeah.
tough. I had severe sleeping apnea. So that affected all my life. So after that experience, I didn't only lose the weight, but I start putting my family first. In 2013, I had only one girl. Now I'm blessed. I have three of them.
Yeah.
They are amazing. And this is how you balance your life. You need to look at life in a way, why I'm doing this. So people ask me, why you wrote the Singularity of Hope? Why you are writing this and stuff? I told them for my girls. Because I want them to live in a future where robots serve them and not having a tax collector that is a robot. That will be a catastrophe. And to avoid that nightmare, first, we need all to be hopeful. I don't think that will happen. But also, we need to participate actively. So when I'm doing these books, I don't believe I'm working. I believe I'm doing something for my family. And family is the most important thing, in my opinion. And everything else, when I'm doing it, I'm doing it for them or thinking of them. Because sometimes, yes, I know writing a book is not that important for my girls as playing with them. But when they grow up, they'll say, "Oh, my daddy fought hard for us." That's what matters for me.
So, let me ask you this. If you had a dream tonight and you ran into a much younger version of you and you could tell that version of you a piece of advice based on this life you've lived, the wisdom you've gained over your life, what advice would you give that young version of you?
First of all, I will tell my younger self, don't worry, everything will be fine. You don't need to stress out because this person is bullying you or this girl didn't appreciate you. Don't worry, be patient. perseverance will be very well paid, and no need to stress out. And don't overestimate a project or a chance. Some people tell you, hey, it's the chance of my life. No, it's not. I used to tell people the best client or the best job, you don't have it yet. It will happen. Don't worry. So it's really to take things easy and not to stress out
Yeah.
and enjoy the moment. Sometimes we are so stressed about the future and we forgot to live the moment.
So let's say you walk into a room of all the people that know you from a business sense, and you can swim through that group of people and go to a podium and tell them one fun story about you, a fun adventure, some jumping out of an airplane, something fun. What would you tell that room of people?
Oh my God, something fun. I will tell them, hey, I'm boring. No, no, no. You surprised me with this question. There was something fun about me or about my life. I don't know. Maybe I got in one time I had this. I was next to my car and I was eating a hamburger, and it was a time when I was very obese. And this lady started lecturing me about health and how I need to save money and stop eating hamburgers. And if I'm saving money, maybe I will can afford the Lamborghini that I'm looking for. I told her I own this Lamborghini, sorry.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that qualify, but
Yeah.
sometimes people assume things about
Sure.
you because of your shape, how you
Yep.
behave,
Yep.
and they don't know you. She thought because I'm eating a hamburger and I was honestly not well dressed and so obese. So when you are obese, I'm sorry, elegance is not one of your criteria.
Yeah.
So you seem poor and broke. She thought she is giving me advice, and then she discovered, no, you are doing well in life.
Uh-huh.
But that was also a wake-up call because I said, okay, if someone doesn't know me, look at me on the street, thinks I'm that bad and start giving me advice, there's something wrong in my life. So
Yeah. That's a great story. So let me ask you this. Of everything that you've done, accomplished, and evolved into, what are you the proudest of?
I'm proud. The most proud things I am in my life is my girls, honestly,
Yeah.
because of all this busy life. Like I did a lot of science. I was doing a PhD, and a lot of my friends had like some theories, like to be happy you don't need kids. Uh, to have wealth you need to sacrifice this and that, and enjoy your life now. And I would say no. The wisdom is really, and the best thing I did is having my family, having my girls, and this is much more rewarding than enjoying a party when you are young or having a successful career. And I think it comes with it. Like when you are doing things well and in terms of your family, you will be also rewarded in terms of career. So the most proud things I am today, the most thing that I'm proud of is my family.
So at the end of the day, everyone has a perception of you, family, friends, clients, colleagues, everyone that knows you, but you run the show. What's your perception of you? Who do you think you are?
Um, In fact, I'm a person who is trying to do good for humanity. I know my place, so I know I'm not, for example, Elon Musk or Bill Gates, but that doesn't mean I don't need to try hard. Uh, and I think I'm doing well from this perspective. Like I'm participating actively in our society and life. And for people who doesn't know me, he will think, and I heard that a lot. Hey, work less. You will have a heart attack of working too much. I will tell them I don't work too much. I just enjoying working, so I am so productive. But in reality, I'm spending a lot of time with my family, maybe 4 or 5 hours of joy with my girls every day.
Yeah.
People don't know that. They think I'm working all the time because sometimes it's good to work smart,
Yeah.
to have output, right? So that's maybe the secret that nobody knows. I'm not that hardworking, I'm smart working.
I love it. So if anybody wants to reach out, they want to get your books, they want to learn more, they have questions, any of the good business, where do they go?
First of all, you can Google me. It's the easiest way, Sam Sammane, and you will find my website, samman.com, but also you will find my social media. Uh, I have a very active TikTok and YouTube channels, and both of them oriented short to young people because my objective is to educate, to spread the real deal for them. I know nobody reads. I did the books only as a base, as a reference But honestly, I'm trying to educate and spread information and knowledge and advice through social media. All of that is free. I have also a lot of resources coming. My books are on Amazon, and a lot of free resources and free books will be sold on my website.
Excellent. Sam, I can't wait to get this out. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for an incredible story. Thank you for your time and best of luck with everything.
Thank you for having me. Really, I was happy. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. It's been great. Thank you.
Hello, friends. Joe Dimino here. I just wanted to let you know that after 30 years or so, I have finally released my first book of poetry through the mighty Spartan Press here in Kansas City, Missouri. As the creator and host of both Neon Jazz Radio and the famous Interviews with Joe Dimino podcast, along with being a visual artist, I'm ready to embark on a new adventure and want you to be a part of it. You can get a copy online via Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and actually on the streets in Kansas City at the great Prospero's bookstore off 39th Street. You can also visit joedimino.com for links to the book, to more poetry, and everything in my world, including paintings. Thanks for all of the love and support over the years, and please dig the words.